Annoyed Wawa supervisor says, wait, Gino and Keanu are getting married on a Sunday? Mima really saving cash on that Elks Lodge rental, eh? That's why most people who get married on a Sunday are doing it to save money. It's cheaper to get married on a Sunday. But also a Sunday during football season. That's how you know that Gino didn't get a lot of say in it. McBuster says a couple days and Gino is trapped. They own a drunken, raging Moorish sperm bank. Chips and Diff says, what if your son wants to be a law tuber? I would say, son, a lot of people decided to do that so that you didn't have to. Don't be, well, you can be a law tuber, son. I just, stay away from the powder, That powder's going to rot your brain. That's permanent brain damage, right? Like years of cocaine abuse gives you brain damage. Like you can't function like a normal adult. How long does it take to get brain damage from cocaine? I love that every time I Google anything with the word cocaine in it, you get the help is available 988 S-word and crisis lifeline. The effects of cocaine on the brain can cause long-term alterations in brain structures that make it very hard to quit or may cause someone to relapse after long periods of sobriety. Using this potent drug can cause other kinds of long-term health damage as well. Well, I think that's like Nick has the mentality of a 14-year-old, for example, and if he's not tard-wrangled by the government or his parents, he will do it again. But the thing about being stuck in a persistent teenage state is that at least you can be wrangled, which is the important part. But once that wrangling stops, and you're 43 years old, you shouldn't need to be tard-wrangled by mommy and daddy or the government anymore. But once mommy and daddy stop looking, or once the government stops looking, it's right back to it again. That's how kids are. You can't think of it like a 43-year-old man. You got to think of it like a 14-year-old boy who never got that shit out of his system. Powdered cocaine can cause long-term damage to mental health, which appears in the form of mood or emotional disturbances. That would explain the inability to pull up. Because the drug interferes with dopamine reuptake, long-term use may alter the brain's ability to regulate dopamine activity. Auditory hallucinations, restlessness, paranoia, psychosis. The basal ganglia, which makes up a key part of what researchers often call the brain's reward circuit. Overactivity in this region of the brain from long-term use can diminish someone's ability to derive pleasure from other activities like eating, socializing, or sex. Holy shit, he really does have brain damage from it. The extended amygdala, which is involved in feelings of unease, such as anxiety and irritability, can become sensitive from repeated drug use. That chart came out and he went into a guy who says creepy shit about kids chat and started handing him money and losing his mind. Someone may begin using drugs to escape discomfort caused by sensitivity in this region of the brain instead of getting high. The prefrontal cortex, which is involved in planning, problem solving, and decision making. Holy shit. The long-term effects of drugs on this part of the brain combined with the above regions can reduce someone's impulse control and make them prioritize drug use over anything else, like your children or other parts of your life. And even after you stop, you can still, the gray matter in the brain can continue to be damaged. Holy yeah, I think staying away from cocaine is probably a good thing long term for you guys. Just letting you know. It just looks like regarding the research, perhaps. Kraken Slappin says buying a high country was crazy. That was just for status. Yeah, I think so too. She loved it though, and I loved her, so I wanted her to be happy. I wanted to have the truck that made her happy. But then my family told me years later, they're like, yeah, she would always tell us in private, in life, she only wanted three things: a house. What was it? A house, a truck, and a boat. I was like, that's weird, because usually people would say they want something that's like a partner that I love, a house, a truck, and a boat. But her thing was, I want a house, I want a truck, I want a boat. Okay. Sounds ambitious. How are you going to get that? Oh, not work. Anonymous says, your dad is most upset about naked Baldo Twister. It wasn't naked. Never mind. McBuster says, oh my God, yeah, there's a couple things McBuster's writing in there that are rumors, and I don't know. Ooh, I love rumors. Bapa Shab says, you should take Father Imholte to Gay 90s and explain that you went there with the polycule. I'm sure he would be very proud. McBuster says, Melton trying to deflect and call Aaron a pedo for calling Nick a 14-year-old sex pest was really desperate and sad of Melton. Oh, really? I've been really making him cope lately with very little effort. But, hey, it's another win for the toe. Did she actually use the truck other than to just drive it to one place to another? I mean, no, it was mostly for, driving around. I mean, we take it hunting and shit, but not we weren't hauling crazy shit around. Everyone keeps telling me that if you talk shit about Nick Fuentes on your show, that all of these Nick Fuentes fans are going to just come out of they're going to run the gauntlet at you and they're going to come after you and this and that. And I got to be honest, I'm waiting for it. I would love that. I would love a little Nicholas Fuentes heat. You know how much I would love Nick Fuentes heat? Because A, it's effortless for me because I do think he's cringe. I think he's awful. And how does he have supporters that are like white nationalists? How does he have supporters that are like, yeah, the white man, I hate the gays and the Jews? It's like, you understand, this guy comes off as, to me, a gay Jew. Like, yeah, I'm going to follow Nicholas Fuentes. He understands what the white Chad dudes need. It's like, this guy's a bitch, no offense. Like, you really see this guy as your epitome of, the future of the Western man? If the future of the Western man looks, talks, and acts like Nick Fuentes, we are bottled. I mean, we are, just sodomize us with a rusty fish hook. We're finished if Nick Fuentes is the future. I don't know how this guy got an audience. And I know people say the same thing about me, but I actually agree with them. I don't know how Nick Fuentes got an audience. I think Nick Fuentes' audience is, again, a lot of people who were left behind by the real world and found solace in the internet, and this guy's going to be their hero, because the real world has a way of checking your bullshit where the internet can't. So that's why you see guys like the whatever guys or Nick Fuentes, and they're like, this is what men need to be, and this is what Chad blah, blah, blah needs to be. That this is the face of what dudes should be. This gets beat up a lot. And if you turned around, you could point to his ass and go, that gets beat up a lot. Old Nicky boy, old Nicky Fuentes, talking about not voting for Trump because of Jews.
Simply peel back the veneer, and you could see what was really going on in the entire right wing. You would not believe it. You would not believe how deep the infiltration goes.
Really? You immature baby? Oh man, if I told you that in a mainstream political movement there's Jews in it, would you believe me? Yes, you immature dolt. Yeah, kind of hard to avoid Jews, Nick. They exist. I'm sorry. They exist. They're around.
And on some level, after seeing what I've seen, knowing what I know now, hearing this stuff constantly now about stopping anti-Semitism, honestly, I don't even want Trump to win anymore.
What a baby. What a baby. Like, I heard a politician say a thing that pandered to a group of people that he needs to vote for them. I don't think I can support him anymore. That you want to show me that you have basic bitch political takes? Here's how you do it. Take a pandering line that a politician said and then go throw a tantrum and go, I need purity out of my candidates. My candidates have to think like me all the time or I can't support them. Ugh, you're a bitch.
I don't care how based he sounds on immigration. I know he's got aura. I know he's funny. That's not because I don't like him. But I really do believe, with zero irony and zero exaggeration, that he is actually a grave threat to the country.
Here we go. It's never good enough. Well, here's what he's setting himself up for. He's setting himself up for the big grift, because if Trump wins, his numbers go down. Like all of those guys, Nick Fuentes, Richard Spencer, all those guys, people stopped paying attention to them after Trump won, because Trump won. That was the end game. It's over. Now it looks like Trump might win this thing, so he has to position himself as like, I warned you about Trump, and I told you the Jews and gays, and blah blah blah. Like he's got to keep feeding that grist for the mill. This is how this any movement, white nationalism, liberalism, any you go right side of the spectrum, left side of the spectrum, they all have to do this. They all got to keep the Carney, Vince McMahon pro wrestling thing going.
And I'm not saying that because I'm a resistance liberal. I'm not saying that because I'm a leftist.
Actually, some people say you're a Fed. That's what I'm getting in my chat. A lot of people are saying Nick Fuentes is a Fed, and it's been exposed. I don't know. I do think you're just a dipshit. I do. When it comes to Nick Fuentes, I don't think there's anything clandestine about it. I think he's a weak, modern, internet-obsessed man who has now found like-minded people to gravitate toward him because they're all in a hug box saying, oh, no, we're the real alpha chads. We're the real men. It's like, no, they're not wasting their time with this shit.
I'm as right-wing as it gets.
I mean, except the whole you're probably not into chicks thing. I mean, if you could just, Dave Rubin admitted it. They still accept him. Come on, Nick. All Republicans need a gay friend. They have a black friend. They have a gay friend. They even have trans friends now. Get with the times, Nick. Nobody's going to be ashamed of you. It's so awkward. Like, it used to be if people came out of the closet, it was weird. Now when people don't come out of the closet, it's weird. It's like, okay, you're making us know something about you, but you're not admitting it. So that's kind of making us feel crazy about the thing we know because you won't confirm it. It's frustrating.
But at this point in time, when you look at America's role in the world in this very dangerous neighborhood.
What heterosexual man talks like this? I'm sorry.
Our country is being destroyed from the inside by these.
Wait a minute. Let me guess. Gays and Jews, Nick?
This international cabal.
Oh, of what?
And they're making it so that no one can have any power in the country without being compromised for Israel. And so, in a sense,
Dude, I'm sorry, Nick. You keep thinking that these people are your heroes and they're somehow compromised by Israel. These people believe this shit. Trump, Kamala, he has to believe that there's some clandestine effort to pressure these people. Go talk to most people on the street. Most people support Israel. They think they're a democracy and they think they're, our friend and that we should be back. Like, people have opinions I disagree with. I don't agree with them that they've been a help and an ally and a friend. I think they've if they're a friend, they're that friend with a serious drinking problem that keeps roping you into their bar fights. But to say that Trump is compromised so he has to support Israel, that's just you not being able to process the fact that the guy that you like disagrees with you on Jews in Israel. His son-in-law is Jewish. His daughter converted to Judaism. He's not anti-Semitic. He likes Jews. He's been doing business in New York since he was 9. He's met a Jew or two. But Nick can't process that. So it has to be, well, Trump's compromised by Israel. Oh, so Donald Trump, the guy who can't be compromised by anyone, takes China head on, the second most powerful country in the world. But when it comes to little old Israel, he's just compromised. It can't be that my daddy, my political daddy, disagrees with me on Israel and Jews. It has to be, well, he's compromised.
We are a vassal for Israel, and Trump is running as the king vassal of Israel. There's a reason. When Trump goes up there and says, if Kamala wins, it's over for Israel, listen. When Trump says, Kamala makes Obama look like an Israel lover, listen. When he goes up there and they cheer and
how is this man not gay? It's frustrating me. I'm actually getting mad now that people don't see it. But like, what are you going to do? What, are you going to find a candidate who doesn't like Israel? You're not going to find a lot of them. You're just not. This is a man finding out that he's in the minority and not being okay with it. And by the way, no non-closeted homosexual wears a Christ is King shirt. Stop it.
Applaud and give standing ovations. He says, I'm a friend of the Jewish people. He said at these events yesterday, this is the most important election of our lifetimes for Israel. I'm going to make Israel great again. He said Israel might be the greatest country in the world.
That's not a gay face. Honestly, that should be on a calendar. A calendar that bears by. And they just, are you lonely? Call me. My name's Nick. I can't listen to this guy for much longer than this. Like, people follow this. Like, he's throwing a baby tantrum because he's just now finding out that Republican politicians also simp for Israel. No, get the fuck out of here. And because of that, I'm not going to support Donald Trump. Really?